Welcome back to Recap IT. Today we are going to recap a 2016 drama movie titled Yuna. Yuna chooses to face Ray, her former neighbor, about their sexual encounter when she was 13 years old. When she was 13, a woman was sexually abused by her next-door neighbor. But before we begin, please consider subscribing to this channel. Now without wasting any further time, let's begin, shall we? Yuna is a lonely young woman who spends her days drinking at bars and sleeping with various guys before returning home before dawn. She had a crush on Ray when she was 13 years old. He was Yuna's and her family's next-door neighbor, as well as her father's trusted friend. Ray and Yuna were inseparably linked. He would come to her house on a regular basis to speak with her father. He was aware that Yuna had a crush on him, and he shared her feelings. Ray was aware that she was a juvenile, but he did not intervene since he was on the lookout for something. Ray and Yuna used to meet up at a park in secret, where he would touch her, climb on top of her, and make love to her. Yuna was desperate to make Ray happy and would go to any length to do so. Yuna would accompany Ray in secret so that they could be together. For 3 months, they had a sexual connection. Ray went out one day after making love at a hotel and said he'd be back in 5 minutes. Yuna waited all day for him, but Ray never returned. Yuna went out later that evening to hunt for him in town, but she couldn't find him. She looked around the streets for him. As she wandered through the streets, she was alone and terrified. Ray had assured her that the two of them would flee to another nation together. Yuna phoned the cops after realizing Ray had abandoned her and was returned home. Despite this, she kept her relationship with Ray a secret. Ray was sexually abusing Yuna, they discovered, and when he got what he wanted, he ran away. Ray was apprehended and sentenced to 4 years in prison for his crime. Ray was viewed as the lowest form of mankind by his fellow convicts at the institution. They would spit on him, beat him up, and cover his face in human feces. Everyone branded him a child predator who groomed young girls by manipulating them. Ray changed his name to Peter Trevelyan after completing his prison sentence. He began his career in a warehouse, where he eventually progressed to the position of manager. Yuna, unlike him, couldn't run away from her history because she had to live with her mother. Yuna's father died not long after Ray was arrested. Yuna was ostracized by everyone, including Ray's girlfriend, who accused Yuna of taking her man. Yuna was lonely and confused as a child, which is why she frequented pubs and dated random individuals. Yuna is now an adult, and it has been 15 years since the incident. Ray's picture appears in a local newspaper one day, and she seeks him down at his office. She wishes to confront Ray and inform him of the humiliation and sorrow she has endured over the years. The incident has left her emotionally scarred. Yuna is easily recognized by Ray. Ray, on the other hand, instead of empathizing with her, wants her to stay away because he worries Yuna is plotting to ruin his career or perhaps kill him. Yuna tells him that she doesn't want to hurt him, and that all she wants is to be done with him. An staffer interrupts their talk, informing Ray of a crucial staff meeting. Ray leaves for the meeting, where he is instructed by his boss to inform employees about layoffs and cuts. However, he is unable to operate well at the meeting and abruptly departs. His employer is enraged and is searching for him everywhere. Yuna locates him and continues to converse with him. Ray admits that he was sincerely smitten by her. He is not a natural hebephile, and it was never his intention to use Yuna. He clarifies that he wasn't grooming her, but that he sincerely loved her. He also tells Yuna that he married a woman his own age after starting a new life. He told his wife everything that had transpired in his life, and she welcomed him anyhow. Ray reveals that he has never left Yuna. He simply needed to clear his mind before taking such a significant step forward in his life. Yuna was vanished by the time he returned. He looked for her everywhere, but she was nowhere to be found. He was so terrified that he called the cops to report a missing individual. This is how he ended up in jail. Yuna goes on to inquire about Ray's family, and she discovers that Ray hasn't told his wife about the incident. Yuna appears to be sick, and Ray advises her to see a doctor. Yuna's feelings for Ray resurface as she discovers the truth. Ray and Yuna are still in love with each other. They begin to mate, but before they get too far, Ray abruptly stops and returns to his home, leaving Yuna feeling abandoned once more. Ray urges his co-worker Scott to take Yuna with him before leaving the warehouse. Yuna invites Scott to join her for a drink at his apartment. Ray mates with his wife with his eyes closed at home, indicating that he is dissatisfied with his married life. Yuna seduces Scott and begins mating with him after a night of drinking. But she comes to a halt in the middle and begins to cry. She convinces Scott to take her to Ray's residence by lying to him that Ray is her father. Ray and his wife are throwing a big get-together at their home. Ray's house is where Scott and Una come. Ray is taken aback when he sees them at his home. Una asks Ray's wife if she is pleased with her married life while they are alone. Ray's wife remains silent, implying that neither of them is content with their marriage. Ray tells Scott to take Una away because he is afraid she would reveal their past to everyone. Una, on the other hand, refuses to leave with Scott and goes upstairs. She walks into a teenage girl's room and curls up on the bed. Una is confronted by a young woman who demands an answer from her. Ray's daughter from a previous marriage, who is also 13, is the girl in question. Una abruptly exits the room when Ray enters, believing that he is having a connection with his wife's daughter. Una is pursued by Ray, who informs her that nothing is wrong. He claims that Una is the only woman of that age he has ever desired, and that he has never looked for anyone else. He kisses Una and declares her to be the only person he has ever truly loved. Una remains silent and wanders away into the darkness. Ray's wife, stepdaughter, and Scott are all looking on from afar. And this is where the movie comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, until next time.